What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Live Beyond Average podcast. I have no idea what number episode this is. It's 200 and something, but we're back.
It's a lot of episodes.
It's a lot of episodes, and there's about to be a lot more, and that's what this episode is about, is diving back in. We've been posting episodes this year, but in an inconsistent way, but I'm excited, probably, I don't know, you're probably pretty excited too, but a huge announcement for us is a dream really coming true in Amy is now working full-time with Run to Gun. She's legit decided to be like, hey, I'm going to take advantage of my part ownership and and work for the company. So she officially quit her corporate job. We are now expanding the coaching company that we run, which also means more content creation. It means more of this style creation, just because it's all of the things we've wanted to do, but literally with the amount of time of me working full-time in the business, Amy working full-time corporate, and then being full-time parents of 3, you can only do so much, and we do a lot. Like, I know everybody does a lot,
yes.
But when you're trying to grow a business and make it very large and serve a ton of people, and you're doing everything
And do it well.
You only have so much time in a day, and we use up most of that time every single day.
Yes.
And so I'm super pumped to see, just over the next, let alone 4 months, over the next year, where God's going to take us on this journey. And it's going to be pretty exciting. So Amy, let's dive in. You quit your job last week was your first full week off, right?
Yes. So I think it's been 2 weeks.
Today, yeah.
Today is 2 weeks. It doesn't really feel quite real yet, because we've kind of had just a lot going on in that 2 weeks. We've had a little vacation, and there's been lots of things going on with the kids, just wrapping up summer stuff, and there's been some family around, so I'm excited. I think next week it's going to really start setting in and feeling real, but yeah, I finally warmed down enough to finally convince him that yes, I should be full-time with Live Beyond Average and Run to Gun. So
okay, so let's dive into that. Why do you think you wore me down into this? Let's expand on that thought.
So we've been talking about it for, I would say, a good last year. It's been heavy on my heart. When we had Lily, I had a big shift in myself, which I always wanted to go back to work after the other 2. I didn't have really too big of an issue. Of course, I wanted, as much time with babies, but I was good with going back to work. I didn't have really too much issues with that. And after Lily, it was just like, no, like, this is really hard for me to go back to work. Just like my priorities and just shift in our family, I just felt it very heavy. And that I was just being called to be at home more. And also I was just seeing Jordan, really the business coming around, and I'm like, I know I have a place and part in this business to grow it even more. And if I could just be here more in the home to support him with our family, like, it can go to another level.
Yeah, because we've hired 4 people, over the years of this, and 3 of those just in the last year. And so it was like, you're hiring these people when it's like, well, we could just be not spending that money and having both of us do those tasks.
Yes.
Which that doesn't mean that we know we're not going to have to hire people again in the future, because obviously that's the goal, is to grow it so big that you
gotta have
you
more
have to
support.
have more support. And but it was one of those things too where, from my viewpoint, it's always like, well, she's making this much money, which frees up more cash flow for my business to put back into my business and to continue to grow, which has worked extremely well for us for a lot of years.
Yes.
And there was a time frame for 9 years where I was doing the same thing. Like I was working a corporate job from 2011 all the way to 2019, as well as building Run to Gun, as well as filming the TV show. And so we had always been supplementing on the side while we were growing our business, which has been, I mean, it is a way to grow a business.
Yeah.
And then, you know, for me, it was in mid 2019, I went full time with the business, and then Amy was still working then full time. That's when she actually took that same year. She took this job that she just quit, and so when I quit, my corporate job in 2019, went full time Run to Gun, and then started Seeker that year. You started your corporate job, and so the time frame was really cool. But then we got to this past year. And dude, everything just was different. Like the shift was different. Not a really tangible thing you can almost like pinpoint.
Yeah, and it was just something like both him and I felt. And like Jordan was being really good of like, he was making deadlines and like, okay, like this is the goal time of like, hey, then you can maybe like quit your job. And
we did it twice.
It just kept getting pushed back, and I just don't ever think like there was a perfect timing. It just like, it just like, let's do it. Like, we just need to do it. Like, we had a really good conversation with some friends of ours that have also taken that step in the last couple years, and just gave us a lot of encouragement and, put it in God's hands and just pray on it and see where it takes you. And I think once we had a really good conversation with them, we got our heads wrapped around it even more in the next steps, that we were like, all right, like we just got to take the leap of faith.
It made it terrible. That's what it did. But like before we had done it, we had set 2 previous deadlines. I can't remember when the first one was, but it was, it was actually further back than a year, I believe. But then we had made the February deadline. I think it was February 13th.
Yeah, because it was supposed to be before
26th.
When we went to Arizona for our summit. Yeah,
so we had scheduled this summit for 3 other couples to come out to Arizona and meet us. We rented this awesome mansion, and we put months prior. It would have been like in November, right, when we planned the summit. So in November we had put the date on the calendar. That February 13th, I think is what it was, or somewhere around in there, would be her last day. I had actually sent that date to one of our closest friends and his wife, and told them, you put it out there. We're big believers in that, and so we put it out there to them. I was just, hey bro, just want you to know this. I want your energy and your prayers behind this too, because they're just huge believers in that sense of, when you have other people supporting you in that too, that's powerful, and everybody needs that. And that date came, and it was like, I tried wrapping my head around that, and it wasn't even, I didn't even consider it. It was hard, why are we even talking about this? It wasn't even considered legitly.
Yeah.
And then, we went to Arizona. Ironically, the couples that were there, both, one had already, and she had done several jobs, already had quit hers and, was helping her husband. And the other one, same thing, already quit hers. They, was full-time with her husband and their business together. And we just found it funny because we were down there serving those people that paid to be at our summit. And it was funny how, on the flip side, what they were giving back to us so deeply. They had no idea, because they didn't know that we had put the date on the calendar for literally the day before we went to the summit.
Yes.
And we didn't bring this up to them. And so it was just where the conversation organically went. And they're sitting there oh, you need to do this, you need to do this, and we're kind of laughing internally well, that's funny.
Well, yeah, because us ladies, we were just chatting, and I was just expressing what was just on my heart, and what I was just wanting for our business and for our family, and they could just so clearly see it, and they were you just need to go forward with the step, and they've been so encouraging throughout, we were just with one of the couples here a couple weekends ago,
And then the other couple is actually coming out to our place on Friday. They're going to hit a workout with us and cook some food. So it's like the relationships that get built at these summits are epic too. So you need to come to a summit of ours in the future.
We feed into you, you feed into us.
It's
like
amazing.
it's amazing. It's not just us giving, we get a lot in return as well. So
yeah, it's so cool. So we came back from that summit in confliction. It was such an awesome time, but it was also like what happens, you guys, when you start creating the vision in your head or the goals in your head of what you want to accomplish, and when you're not living in that same alignment, tension happens.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we view tension as a bad, negative thing. Tension is a good thing because tension brings awareness to where we're at in our life. And so when you can feel that tension, then you can ask the question of, why am I feeling the tension? Where am I not, in alignment with what I need to be doing? And for us, it was, okay, we have all these beliefs of living beyond average. We pour into people, taking risks and living beyond and doing those things. And it's not that we don't do that, but it was the next step for us, because you don't do that one time and then you're like, oh, I made the decision to live beyond average.
Yeah, this one time,
yeah. It is a then continual growth after you accomplish the step and you take the next step up and you follow that and then you take the next step up. So we could really feel that tension of, the misalignment of everything that we were telling people and preaching to people, and then us taking that next step ourselves. And so we had kind of sat down and made, the goal again, and Amy was like, I think we should do it. I want to do it in July. And I was like, cool, let's do the end of the year. Because in my mind, I think so much in dollars and cents.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I do projections on what my company's doing, and I do all that stuff, and I'm like, okay, cool, end of the year. Like, and I'm running the money that she's going to make between now and then. And I'm like, okay, what can we do with this money? What can we pay off? What can we stack? All of the things. There's so much, and that's how my mind works.
Yes.
And not that yours doesn't either, because she's very much logistical in her job, what she does. But I'm just, I think part of it's just being the man, right? Like it is the providing factor.
That provider, yeah.
And so I had set the goal for the end of the year. She had set the goal for July, and I didn't. I was like, no.
and one thing also that I've always carried within our whole marriage is I've always had the one that's had the stable job, I would say, or the job with the benefits. Job that has those things. I had the health insurance. I have the I've always carried that stuff.
Yes.
So it's like figuring that out as well, and like not having that come out of the paycheck. Like that goes into the budget, and like thinking that out logistically as well. And so
because I was in corporate gym setting jobs, and then I was in a corporate, like basically a buyout startup big franchise system. And they kind of offered it, but it was such, they were so new that it was like such a terrible deal that, there was only 10 of us employees type of a thing. And so it was just such a different thing, what she always helped with,
Yeah, I've always carried it because I've just worked for bigger companies that usually have the better benefits packages and all that. So,
yeah, what are we doing with that? So
we got it figured out.
So, here we are then, April or March goes by, April goes by, May goes by, and then we get into June. And obviously, in her mind, she had already made the decision in July. In my mind, I'm like, end of the year. And then in my mind still, I'm thinking end of the year, but I'm like, I probably have a doubt in me that I already know, like, cool, we're going to end the year, we'll just keep going, and I'll put it off till July again. That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
So, we're in June. You have to leave on work.
Yes. I had another work trip, which the amount of work trips also this last year has increased a lot, and it's been very hard for me to go. I'm not excited. I wasn't excited for any of them.
And these were 1,000 miles away work trips.
Yes, there was some that was like, yes, jumping on an airplane. Yeah.
And some of them, are they're two nights away that are drives, but they're like stacking up, just not like more and more and more. And so she's across the country, in June. I'm back here with 3 kids. And it wasn't even a 3 kid, like, that's fine with me. I'm actually, like, my kids they're so good, it's not hard for me at all. Even with the baby, she's so good.
She's very good.
And the older two help so much, and it's like, but I'm just like over Amy being gone, and I just text her, and we're in June, and I'm like, all right, cool, July it is, and I just kind of admitted that I just like gave up, I just like surrendered it, and at that point I stopped doing the math, I stopped, and I just was like, cool, you give your 2 weeks on this date kind of a thing.
Yep.
And that was just kind of that.
Yeah. There was one thing that you did have me do in like May, which was funny because I had just did a strategy session for my own, like for my job. And then he was like, all right, do strategy session for like what your role is in the business. And so I laid it out of like what I can do and what I can help with and how I can bring in additional income. And yeah.
Well, and it's just like with that, I think, for me on that side, the struggle was in the past, she'd always wanted to help, and she has always been a part of the business, not like she wasn't.
Yes.
But we had always tried for her to be a bigger part of the business, and it would start, and then it would fall off. And it's not because she was lazy or anything, it was purely just because she can only do so much.
Yeah,
she's
have so
full-time
much
mom, and she's she does most of the things around the house. All of the stuff, and so for me, there was that doubt of like, okay, well, you're going to quit your job, you're coming here, you're not going to do anything. And even if that was the case, my mindset shifted on that too, where it's just like, well, cool, what if she doesn't want to do anything? What if she just wants to be a mom? Like, is that okay too? And obviously I think our dreams are compounded on that. I don't want to say bigger than that because I think being a mom is about the biggest thing you could do.
Yeah.
But I think what we want to do together have compounded on us being a mom and a dad, and great ones, but also like what we believe in our hearts that we're supposed to accomplish together on the business side of things. But not when you hear business, don't think money from a standpoint of what we believe on how we're supposed to affect community and affect people.
Yeah.
That's where we've both been, like, we both had words on us from God about that. And even about the property that we have bought and that we're on now, like, we know like why we're here. It's became very clear, and it was given to us when we bought it, and that clarity has happened over the last 5 years of being here.
Yeah.
And so that's where it's like I had to really give that out, be like, dude, you need to, whatever it is supposed to be, it's going to be. And just believe that. And so, yeah, we had put the date then. She did the strategy. I don't think I looked at it.
We talked through it.
I remember none of it.
Yeah.
I legit don't remember.
I have it down, so, and yeah.
Let's put that in the employee handbook. I'd like to see it. So, yeah. And then, okay, so yeah, now we get to June, end of June. We're through the busiest month of the summer for us with baseball, softball, all the craziness.
All the craziness, yes.
You give your 2 weeks. We go on vacation first.
Yes, to the hills.
Yeah, we go out to the hills.
To
Get back, give your 2 weeks. And now we're here.
Yeah.
You work till the end of July.
I worked till the end of July, and the interesting thing, because I always think dates are interesting, is last year, a year ago, was my last day before I had Lily. And it was my last day of work.
1 year apart.
1 year apart.
It was freaking crazy, dude.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And we're a big date. Like, we're going to get into some other dates in the next podcast. We're going to talk about our Vegas trip. Some amazing things that happened there. But also, like, we're just big on dates. It's funny how dates have had some huge alignment in our life. And it's like, here's the thing. It's like, Scripture tells us that God is a God of signs and wonders. And everybody wants to overlook signs and wonders because it's weird and woo-woo. But it's like, our life has been filled with signs and wonders.
Yes.
And dates are one of those things that seem to always align with us, or really wild things happen on, cosmically on dates that we're somewhere.
Yes.
Like when we were in Arizona, the night that a lot of this stuff was coming clearly was literally like one of the eclipse, I believe, on that same date down there. It was like one of the biggest lunar eclipses of the year. Like, there's always these things that are happening, like on calendar wise, that happen on every time we're somewhere, and it's just so cool because for us it's just confirmation. It's not like we're sitting here like worshiping dates, but that's not what we do. It is the confirmation piece to us that God's like winking at us, and like it is those pieces of confirmation that just give so much peace to our hearts and our spirit where we're like, oh wow, like look at the alignment of life. Look at everything happened the way it was supposed to happen. You know, the choices we made, like, and if we made a different choice, would it still align on something else? 100% it would.
Yeah.
Because that's how it works. And it's super cool. But yeah, the date of that was crazy. The date of the being out in Arizona on those dates was crazy. What happened down in Vegas on Saturday night was absolutely crazy. And so pretty cool how things are aligning. And now you're 2 weeks out today to the date. I feel like we haven't. It was one of those things too where like I didn't want to force it day one. We're like, okay, you're off, we got work. Like, you know, you ended on a Wednesday. I was like, I wasn't concerned about the rest of that week. You know, then last week we kind of had a partial week. I know we were leaving for Las Vegas. We booked this trip to Las Vegas after she had decided to give her 2 weeks. I literally got on and looked at some different stuff, flights, and we found like $90 tickets to Vegas. I'm like, I'm booking this to celebrate her. Like I've learned over the years to do as the husband, like doing these intentional things, you know, for my wife that I'm still getting better at that I traditionally struggled with. And not purposely. It was just like, that's not how my brain is wired. Like, not purposely, not trying to do things. I'm just not wired that way. And so it's like learning these new things. And so like, and investing money in them, you know, even when it's hard. And that was hard for me to go spend money when I know we're going to make less money.
Yeah.
And so to go spend money on plane tickets, to go spend money on a hotel room, to go spend money on dinner reservations, like those are, every time I do that, it's conflicting to what I actually want to do, which is spend no money. But I know the importance of it, and after everything that happened last weekend, it's like, oh yeah, that was all supposed to happen to set us up for deeper internal shifts. Because if you never have internal shifts, your external never changes. You can sit here, I'll use lifting weights and changing your body as an example. Most people, even listening to this is not a shot at anybody, this is just the reality. And this is what we teach within our coaching. You can have external shifts in your body, right? Everybody has lost weight. Even I have lost weight and gained it all back. And when that happens, when somebody loses 100 pounds and they gain it all back, it is because they did not make an internal shift in what they believe or feel or do internally before or during that transformation of them losing their weight. And so then they lose the weight, but then things never actually changed. It was a temporary behavioral modification to have that happen. Well, when internal shifts happen, that's
when the real change happes.
The real transformation happens. And so that is one of the biggest keys in life. When you're going through transformation, and that is what we teach. That is what separates us in our training Live Beyond Average program than people who are just helping people lose 30 pounds, which is still a beautiful thing. You know, but we believe that we should help be able to stimulate you through this transformational process. So the way that you think and the way that you connect and the way that your mind and heart connects will actually help stimulate this process so your life is changed forever. And that's the biggest thing. So we're now 2 weeks in today, we're really starting to be able to sit down. We got to sit down in Vegas over a couple days and really just dream together again, talk about some of these goals that we want to talk about, some wild stuff that we want to do over, you know, till the end of the year, kind of goal setting wise. And we'll be doing that further. And so a lot of it too is just throughout this creative process. Like we love being creative, and part of that is sitting down like this and even just talking and creating content from it that inspire people and empower you to go do the things that you want to do and go be creative and live a life beyond average with your husband, with your spouse, with your kids, like. And those, you know, there's probably going to be some podcasts that we do on here that we give like an explicit warning before, you know, because a lot of the stuff, you know, we've recorded it at the beginning have been like, you know, we want your kids to listen to it too. And so a lot of the stuff is applicable to children, but like we're probably going to dive into some stuff too, where we're just going to be like, hey, like this is probably one you don't want to listen to with your kids in the car. You know, and it's because we want, you know, like I actually desire wanting to speak more intensely at times to men. You know, I don't cuss very often, like on camera and do those things, but like I do love to cuss sometimes. Like I get intense from a because I care so much standpoint, and I don't want to hold back on that.
Yeah.
Because I do think there's power of connection with when other men will hear the way that I actually talk, that will help move them in a positive direction. Me and Amy want to talk the way that we talk to each other in private at times on how we connect and what's saved our marriage and what's done those things that we think is important to talk about at times too.
Yeah.
It's gonna take a lot of courage for us to get to that point, probably to talk.
Yeah. Yes.
You know,
it's hard. Yeah.
Like I don't know how close those podcasts are coming, but they're gonna come. I do believe that because ultimately that is creativity, and that's the more real we get, that is when it's truly helpful to people. If we're not being 100% real, it does not help people fully.
Yeah.
And so that's where it's like somebody has to do it. And it's like if if we don't do that, we will just continue to feel tension in what we are saying to people and how we are actually living.
Yes.
That is the biggest thing in your profession is what we do. Like that's the tension is the compass.
Yeah.
That it's really cool. So how are you feeling about being fully self-employed?
I feel good. Of course, there's a little like unknown. Like there's at points like some thoughts creep in, and it's like, what did you do? Like all that. But overall, I'm very encouraged and I'm very positive, and I'm excited to get going on some more things. So I'll be starting some like small group classes here once the kids fully get into school.
That's exciting.
Yeah, and I mean that's not going to be anything huge, but again, like that's a part where we were like, we just feel like it's something good for the community to have, and to support some women in the community that want to get around others and build strength and have that bond and encouragement and another layer of accountability. So
100%. Just that positivity poured into them locally, how we know that's going to affect the entirety of the community.
Yes.
And so for those of you who don't know too, like several years ago, Amy was heavily involved in the business and actually had a very large clientele.
Yep.
She was crushing it. She actually built it so big that it was too much doing corporate in that.
Yes.
Like it was crazy. And so I'm just excited to see how now that is where her time is spent, how you can be so effective, because you were doing it just on the side.
I was doing it on the side, but the thing I'm excited about is I did it kind of fully in my own separate way. Like we didn't really, it was together, but it wasn't together.
Right.
And so this time forward, I was like, I didn't really want to have it all separate. I just, it's just under the Live Beyond Average tent.
Yes.
And I'm just another support system and component. But there's a lot of things that I have done with my past jobs that come into this job so seamlessly. I was a manager. That my whole point was leading and guiding people and coaching them and keeping them accountable. That's what we do.
Making strategic plans for your employees.
Yes.
And it's that is 100% what we do for people is make them strategic plans to execute on their own life.
Yes.
And so to be able to pull that experience into this too is really special. The people that are going to work with you are going to be set up extremely well to have success. And that's going to be epic to see those people do that.
Yes. And kind of fully getting back into my nutrition and foodie part of it. Excited for that. So there's a lot of components that from my previous lives that will come into this very good. So I'm excited for that.
It's going to be a pretty epic journey. I'm so excited to just keep diving into the subject matter just to bring people value on this end too. And I know that's just going to keep bringing more people into our ecosystem to help them change their life. I mean, that's the biggest thing that we want to do is see because we just know the more you dive in to living your best life, how that then changes your family, changes the community, and ultimately just changes everything. And that's what we believe the power of it is. So it's gonna be fun. Anything else you want to talk about?
Not on this one. I think we have more to talk about in upcoming ones, but
yeah, dude, I'm so excited.
Wrap on this one.
All right, if you loved it, share it with a friend. Obviously, we don't do ads on the show. We don't do any of that.
No.
So share it with somebody. That's what you ask. Tag it on Facebook. Share the link on Facebook, on Instagram stories. That would be amazing for us. So have a great day. And remember, live beyond average.